This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome to online revision class on VLSI design. Myself, N. Sivaya. In this session, I'm going to revise first three units of VLSI design. The first unit is Introduction and Basic Electrical Properties.
Sivaya, we can't hear you. Hello? Mr. Sivaya?
Sir,
Yeah, there is a small disturbance with your microphone. Are you speaking?
yeah, yes, sir. Is it audible,
Okay,
sir?
okay. Yeah, it is audible now.
Yeah, sir. Shall I
Go
continue,
slow,
sir?
don't hurry up. నిదానంగా
Okay,
చక్కగా ఇబ్బంది లేదు. Monday,
okay, sir.
Mr. Monday Srinivasrao,
Sir.
will you please stay back and help Sivaya
Okay.
for this session?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Please, if there is any, if you can't hear Sivaya or if there is a problem with the screen sharing, okay,
Okay, sir.
you
Okay,
just
sir.
interrupt him and okay, please do it.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, sir. Okay,
So
okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I'll be joining other sessions. I'll be
Okay,
coming
sir. Okay, sir.
in between. Okay, right.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay then. Take care. Bye.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, this ENIAC computer internally consists of 10,000 capacitors and 6,000 manual switches. In order to connect all these devices, it requires a nearly almost 5 lakhs wiring connections. The total weight of ENIAC computer is almost
Hello, Savay, sir. Hello, Savay, sir. Savay, sir. Savay, sir. Savay, sir.
is faster than first generation computer, and also the size is very less compared to the first generation computer. Next, the third generation, that is in the period 1965 to 1970, the concept of integrated circuits came into picture by the scientist Jack Kilby in 1958. After 6 months later, Robert Noyce came up with the same idea. He developed a first integrated circuit. This circuit consists of one transistor, three resistors, and one capacitor. Now, the fourth generation, that is 1971 advanced, today it comes under fourth generation only. Due to the invention of MOSFET and integrated circuits, the entire system can be fabricated into a single semiconductor chip, is shown in figure. Now, why integrated circuits? What is the meaning of a integrated circuit? Integrated circuit contains the more and more number of active and passive components along with interconnections in a single semiconductor chip. Why? Why electronics? Why use ICs to build electronics? The reason is our entire world is surrounded by electronics only. Our laptops contains the integrated circuits, our mobile phones contains the integrated circuit. Each and every field contains the integrated circuits only. In the communication field, in the navigation, in the medical field, all these field contains the integrated circuits only, because it has having so many advantages. For example, the speed is high and the package density is high and the power dissipation is low. These are the advantages of the integrated circuits. That's why we are using all these fields. We are using the integrated circuits only. Anyway, the first IC is developed in 1958 only. In 1965, Morse can observe that he can perform some observations from 1958 onwards up to 1965. He can perform some observations and he conclude one statement. That statement is, for every 18 to 24 months the number of transistor per chip is going to be doubled only. This observation is called as a Moore's law. Till now we are satisfying with this Moore's law only. In 2020 also this Moore's law is satisfied. For example, in 1971 the number of transistors per chip is 2300 transistors and the clock frequency is 1 megahertz only. When it comes to 2001, the number of transistors are 42 million and the clock frequency is 2 gigahertz. Comes to nowadays the number of transistors per chip is 291 millions per transistors. That's why, as Moore says, that the number of transistors is going to be doubled for every 18 to 24 months. Now, based on the number of transistors per chip, the integrated circuits are classified into small scale integration, in which the number of transistors per chip are 10 to 100 transistors. The example of small scale integration is logic gates only. For example, IC7404 is an example of NAND gate which comes under medium scale integration. If the number of transistors per chip is 100 to 1000, which comes under medium scale integration only. The example of medium scale integration is counters only. For example, IC74161 and IC74163, which comes under medium scale integration. Next one is large scale integration. If the number of transistors per chip are 1000 to 20,000, which comes under large scale integration only. And the example of large scale integration is RAM, ROM, and 8-bit microprocessor. Next one is VLSI, very large scale integration. If the number of transistors per chip is 20,000 to 10 lakhs, the example of VLSI is all 16-bit and 32-bit microprocessors. And next one is ULSI, ultra large scale integration, in which the number of transistors per chip is 1 million to 1 crore. The example of VLSI is digital signal processors, all virtual circuit machines comes under VLSI only. Next one is GSI, which means gained scale integration. If the number of transistors per chip is more than 1 crore, then it is called as a gained scale integration. All advanced microprocessors and microcontrollers comes under gained scale integration only. Now the next one is MOS transistor. Why the name is called as a MOS? Because the structure of MOS transistor consists of a layer of metal, a layer of SiO2, it is nothing but a oxide only, a layer of substrate. Substrate is nothing but a semiconductor. That means MOS transistor contains a metal, oxide, and semiconductor. That's why the name is called as a MOS transistor. Anyway, MOS transistors are of two types only: depletion MOSFET and enhancement MOSFET. In VLSI design, we prefer only enhancement MOSFET because there are some drawbacks in the depletion MOSFET. Because in depletion MOSFET, the channel is already formed. That means depletion MOSFET is a default in on position, but we prefer default off position only. This is the major drawback of a depletion MOSFET. And the another drawback is it requires gate voltage greater than the supply voltage. That means it requires two power supplies. This is the another drawback of depletion MOSFET. That is the reason why we are using enhancement MOSFET in the VLSI design. In VLSI terminology, I can call it as N-channel enhancement mode transistor is simply NMOS. P-channel enhancement mode transistor simply PMOS. Now I am going to explaining NMOS enhancement mode transistor. In enhancement mode transistor, initially the channel is not present. That means the transistor is in off state only. By default, the enhancement mode transistor is in off state. In the figure 1, the channel is not present. That means the MOSFET operates in the cutoff region. The minimum voltage required to form a channel is called threshold voltage. If the gate to source voltage is less than the threshold voltage, then the MOSFET operates in the cutoff region and the drain current is zero. That is shown in the figure 1. When it comes to second diagram, let us assume in this diagram I can apply VG threshold voltage is equals to 0.7 volts and I am applying VGS voltage is equals to 1 volt. That means VGS is greater than VT. That means a channel is formed. Now I am going to explain the operation by maintaining VGS is equals to 1 volt as constant and varying the VDS voltage. Initially I can vary the VDS voltage as 10 millivolts, 20 millivolts and 30 millivolts. The drain characteristics can be explained with the following equation only. That is, ID is directly proportional to number of electrons and drift velocity of electrons. Based on these two parameters, I can explain the operation. In first case, I can increase the VDS value from 10 millivolts to 20 millivolts, 30 millivolts. As VDS value is increase only. As VDS value is increasing, what about the electric field? We know the relation between the electric field and voltage. E is equals to VDS by R. As VDS is increasing, then electric field is increasing. Then if electric field is increasing, what about the drift velocity? Drift velocity is also increase only because V is equals to mu into E. That is, if drift velocity is increasing, then drain current is also increase only. What about the second parameter? If VDS is 10 millivolts, 20 millivolts and 30 millivolts, these values are very small compared to the 700 millivolts. That's why the depletion region is not affected. Hence, the channel is remains same only. The channel thickness is remains same. For example, for understanding point of view only, I can say that let us assume 10 electrons flows from source to drain region. Let us assume in practical it is in practical case millions and trillions of transistors can be transferred to the source to the drain, but our example point of view I can say that let us assume 10 electrons are flows from source to drain region. When for lower values of VDS the channel thickness is the same, hence the number of electrons flows from source region to drain region is also same. I can assume 10 electrons only. That's why ID is proportional to N and drift velocity. Here,
Hello, Savay sir. Savay sir. Hello, Savay sir. Savay sir, voice is not coming, sir. Hello, Savay sir.
10 number of electrons flows from source to drain region, but in this case the channel thickness is decreased only. That's why number of electrons I can assume 7 electrons are flows from source to drain region. That is N is decreased only. Another parameter is what drift velocity only. In this case also VDS is increased from 1 volt to 2 volt, 3 volt. As VDS is increasing, then electric field is increasing, then electric field is increasing. Whatever the drift velocity? Drift velocity is also increase on. Now I can conclude this statement. ID is proportional to N and V. In this case, N is decreasing and velocity is increasing. As a result, the drain current increases in the non-linear manner. Increases with the non-linear manner. That's why this MOSFET operates in the linear region or non-saturated region. For example, if VGS is greater than VT and VDS is less than VGS minus VT, then the MOSFET operates in the linear region. What is happening further? I can increase the drain to source voltage. For example, I can increase the 4 volts, 5 volts, and 6 volts. Further, I can increase the drain to source voltage for a particular value of VDS. The channel goes to the near drain end. This point is called as a pinch off or saturation. at this point, but practically I can speak there is a some gap only. From this gap, a fixed number of electrons flows from source region to drain region. For example, I can assume two electrons. In this case, only two electrons are flows from source to drain region. Even though we can increase the VDS voltage is equals to 4 volts, 5 volts, and 6 volts, a fixed number of electrons are flows from source region to drain region. As VDS is increasing after the pinch off, the electric field is constant. As the electric field is constant, then the drift velocity is constant. In this case, both the number of electrons and drift velocity is constant. Hence, the drain current is constant after pinch off. Then the MOSFET operates in the saturation region. This is the condition for the saturation region. As VGS is greater than VT and VDS is greater than or equal to VGS minus VT, then the MOSFET operates in the saturation region. What is the basic difference between the BJT and MOSFET? If I want to operate a BJT and amplifier, it must be operated in the linear region. When it comes to MOSFET, the MOSFET operates in the amplifier when it is in the saturation region. Keep this point in mind. Now, I'm going to derive the relation between IDS versus VDS. See, in case of BJT, we are having a base current, emitter current, and collector current. We already know that the emitter current is the summation of base current and collector current. When it comes to MOSFET, there is no gate current because it is separated by a insulator. That's why gate current is zero. The drain current is same as the source current. That's why I can pronounce is a drain to source current. Anyway, I'm not going to in detail explanation of this derivation. We already covered in the theory classes. By using this simple relation only, I can solve this equation for IDS versus VDS. Non-saturated region. Non-saturated region means what? The other name of non-saturated region is linear region or ohmic region, triode region. All are same meaning only. In case of non-saturated region, as VDS value is increasing, the channel thickness is varying only. As the channel thickness is varying, then the resistance is also varying. That means as the VDS voltage is varying, the channel resistance is also varying. That's why in non-saturated region, the MOSFET acts as a variable resistor. By using this equation, finally I can derive the equation as IDS is equals to K into W by L, VGS minus VT into VDS minus half into VDS square. By making the K into W by L is equals to the beta, then the equation is what? IDS is equals to beta into VGS minus VT into VDS minus half into VDS square. When it comes to saturation region, in the above equation, this VDS is replaced by VGS minus VT because it is in the saturation. Then the equation can be reduced to IDS is equals to K into W by L, VGS minus VT whole square by 2. Again, by equating this K into W by L equals to beta, this IDS is equals to beta by 2 into VGS minus VT whole square. Now, next one is IC fabrication steps. To fabricate an IC, we can follow the sequence of steps only. What is the first one? First one is silicon wafer preparation. In silicon wafer preparation also, we can follow some sequence of steps only. I can simply say that for silicon wafer preparation, take the sand and heat it up to 2000 degrees centigrade. Then we are getting a 99.99% pure silicon. Then this pure silicon can be taken into a crystalline structure and cooled down. Then it is called as a ingot. The size of or the weight of ingot is nearly 100 kgs. After that, this ingot is cutting into a 1 millimeter disc. This 1 millimeter disc is technically called as a wafer. On the top of this wafer, we are having irregularities after seeing with the microscope. That's why we go for the wafer polishing and a wafer cleaning. In this process, in this manner, I can prepare a silicon wafer. What is the next one? Next one is a oxidation only. Oxidation is the process of forming SiO2 on the top of a silicon substrate is called oxidation. it does not allow any impurities. Anyway, oxidations are classified into two types: dry oxidation and wet oxidation. In case of dry oxidation, it takes place at a very high temperatures only, nearly 1200 degrees centigrade, and it is a slow process, and the dry oxidation is used for forming a thin layers. When it comes to wet oxidation, it occurs at 1000 degrees centigrade. Compares to dry oxidation, wet oxidation is a faster, and wet oxidation wet oxidation is used for forming a thick layers, but the electrical properties of dry oxidation is better than the wet oxidation. Next one is a photolithography. Photolithography means the process of removing SiO2. See, all the students are required to mute our microphones. Okay. Next one is photolithography. Photolithography means the process of removing SiO2 wherever required. In photolithography also we follow some sequence of steps, that is forming a photoresist layer, after that forming a photomask with the transparent and opaque region, after that ultraviolet rays exposure, after that etching and stripping, we can remove the SiO2. Next one is diffusion. Diffusion means the process of forming source and drain regions. It is nothing but adding dopant impurities only. In case of diffusion, the entire substrate is heated. This depth of source and drain regions depends on how much time we kept entire substrate in the furnace and furnace temperature. Anyway, diffusion takes place at very high temperatures only. Next one is ion implantation. Ion implantation is similar to diffusion only, but in ion implantation, no need of heating entire substrate. In ion implantation, we heat a portion wherever SiO2 is required to remove. Anyway, ion implantation is takes place at lower temperature compared to this diffusion. For this purpose, an electron beam is used. Anyway, ion implantation is used in the N-well and P-well fabrication. And the sixth one is metallization. Metallization is the process of forming metallic contacts for the devices. Next one is passivation. Passivation means the process of forming glass type epoxy layer on the surface of die in order to protect the die from the environment, and it also adds the mechanical strength. Next one is packaging. Anyway, there are two types of packaging: ceramic packaging and plastic packaging. Plastic packaging is used for the commercial applications, and it operates at low temperature and is having low cost only. When it comes to ceramic packaging, it is used in the military applications and satellite applications. It is having it is having high cost, and it can operate at high temperatures also. See, to fabricate any IC, we have to follow these processing steps only. In this case, I am going to explain NMOS fabrication with the above processing steps only. Listen, this NMOS transistor contains a P substrate and a source terminal, gate terminal, and a drain terminal. For this purpose, I am going to fabricate a NMOS transistor in an IC. The first step is what? Silicon wafer preparation. I am going to take a substrate. In order to form a P substrate, I am going to impure P-type impurities. Then this substrate becomes a P-type substrate. This first step is called as a silicon wafer preparation. What is the next step? Next step is oxidation. Oxidation means what? The process of forming SiO2 layer on the top of the substrate is called as oxidation. What is the next step? Next step is what? Photolithography. The purpose of photolithography is to removing SiO2 wherever I want required. For that purpose, I go for a photolithography only. Photolithography means we have to first form a photoresist layer. This is a photoresist layer. After that, I am using a photomask with the transparent and opaque region. After that, I can use UV rays exposure. The UV rays can be exposed to the photoresist layer. This region is going to be very hard. The unexposed region of photoresist layer is very smooth only. This region is also very hard. After dipping this entire substrate into a hydrofluoric acid, the softer portion is removed and the harder one is remains same only. See, in this case, the softer portion is removed only. Again, the SiO2 layer is also removed by dipping into a hydrofluoric acid. Later, the remaining photoresist layer is also removed by immersing it in a hot acid. Till now, up to 7th step, the process is called as a photolithography. My intention is to remove the SiO2 layer up to this portion. For that purpose, I am using a photolithography. Photolithography means photoresist layer forming a photomask. After that, UV rays. After that, the entire substrate is dipped into a hydrofluoric acid and hot acid. The portion of SiO2 is removed. Up to here, this one is called as a photolithography. And the next step, I am going to use what the now the entire surface is covered with a thin oxide layer. For thin oxide layer, I go for a dry oxidation only. Now the entire surface is covered with a thin oxide layer. Again, the thin oxide layer is covered with a photoresist layer. This photoresist layer is used for the forming a gate terminal. Now I am forming a gate terminal, I can require some portion only. Again, here also I am using the photolithography. Photolithography again means what? Forming a photoresist layer, forming a photomask. After that, UV rays exposure. After that, the entire substrate is dipped into a hydrochloric acid and hot acid. The portion is removed only. See, here also we can do the same thing, forming a photoresist layer, forming a photoresist layer. After that, forming a photomask with UV rays exposure. Again, this portion is removed only. Only this portion is going to be hardened because this photoresist region is UV rays exposure. The polysilicon layer which is not covered by photoresist layer is removed. The remaining photoresist material is also under thin oxide is also removed. See, up to here again we are using photolithography concept only. My intention is to remove the SiO2 portion is here and the here. For this purpose, again I am using photolithography concept only. Till now, I am using photolithography concept two times because I want to require this portion of SiO2 is removed. Again, this portion of SiO2 is removed by using a photolithography concept only. This one is again called as a photolithography. What is the next one? Next one is diffusion concept. Diffusion means what? The process of forming a source and a drain region. In case of NMOS transistor, the source is a N-type material only. The drain is also N-type only. That's why I'm imputing with N-diffusion particles. The process of diffusing N-type particles in order to form the source and drain regions is called as a diffusion. This process is called as a diffusion only. Now I am forming a source region and drain region. Now next step is what? To, to make a contact cuts for the source and gate and drain terminals. For that purpose, again I am covering this entire substrate with the thick oxide layer. Again I am going for a photolithography concept only. The reason is I am going to remove this SiO2 portion, this SiO2 portion and this SiO2 portion. Here also again I go for a photolithography concept only. Till now I go for a photolithography concept three times because to make a contact cut for the source region here, gate region here, drain region is here. Photolithography means same only, forming a photoresist, photomask and after that UV rays. This is the final diagram of a NMOS transistor with the source terminal and gate terminal and drain terminal with the contact cuts also. See, to fabricate any device, we have to follow these sequence of steps only. We have to go many times photolithography concept because wherever I want to remove the SiO2, then I go for a photolithography concept only. Now, next time I'm going to fabricate a PMOS transistor. What is the modification? In case of PMOS transistor, the substrate is a N substrate only, and the source and the drain regions are of P diffusion only, P type impurities only. That is the basic difference between the NMOS and PMOS. We have to do the same thing. Next one is complementary metal oxide semiconductor technology. In CMOS technology, we are using the both the NMOS transistor and PMOS transistor. Anyway, there are some dominant technologies for CMOS: N-well process, P-well process, INTA process, and silicon process also there. I am going to explain the N-well process. See, the structure of CMOS in N-well consists of both the NMOS and PMOS. CMOS means what? It contains the both NMOS transistor and PMOS transistor. In N-well, we can form a which transistor? In N-well, we can form a PMOS transistor. By using remaining, I can form a NMOS transistor. In this case also, I can follow the same sequence of steps only. First, I can form a P substrate. For P substrate, I can form first take a substrate, silicon substrate. After that, it can be impurity with the P-type impurities. Then it forms a P-type substrate. See here. First, I can take a substrate. After that, I can impure P-type. Then it becomes a P-type substrate. This process is called as a silicon wafer preparation. Next one is a oxidation. Here also, a thick oxide layer is formed on the top of a SiO, on the top of a substrate. This process is called as a oxidation only. My intention is to form the N-well. To form the N-well means what? Here I am going to form the N-well. For N-well, I am going to remove this portion of SiO2. This portion of SiO2. For removal of SiO2, I go for a which process? Photolithography concept only. Forming a photoresist layer, after that photomask with the transparent and opaque region. I removing the this portion of SiO2 by using the concept of photolithography. Now I'm going to impure N-type impurities only because in order to form the N-well. After that, remaining thick oxide layer is also removed by dipping into a hydrofluoric acid. And the next step is what? Forming a gate terminals for the both PMOS and NMOS transistors. That's why I am using a polysilicon layer. Again I'm going for a photolithography concept for forming a gate terminals. Again this portion is removed. These two are the gate terminals only. Now, a thick oxide layer is formed on the substrate and applying the photolithography and etching process to diffuse N-type impurities gas particles. Here also I go for a photolithography concept only. In this case, I can use the N plus mask and I'm going to impure N-type impurity gas particles on the substrate. Then it forms a N diffusion. This forms a N diffusion. This is a P substrate. Then it forms a N-mask transistor. In next time, I can use a mask here and p-type impurity gas particles can be diffused. It forms a P diffusion. Here also it forms a B diffusion. Then it forms a PMOS transistor. Again I go for a photolithography concept to make the contact cuts for the both the transistors. Finally, this is the circuit. Finally, this is the diagram of CMOS by using N-well. In N-well, I can form a PMOS transistor. Remaining, I can form a NMOS transistor. Similarly, I'm going to fabricate a CMOS transistor by using P-well. The modification is what? I'm going to use a N substrate. Here I can form a PMOS transistor. In P-well, I can form a NMOS transistor. The entire process is the same only. Next one is anyway twin tub only. In twin tub, we are using both the N-well and P-well. We have to follow the same sequence of steps. I'm going to skip only. I'm going to form the N-well. I'm going to form the P-well. That's why it is called as a twin tub process. Again, I'm going to use the photolithography concept only. This fabrication process of CMOS is similar to previous one later. That's why I'm going to skip this one. Now I'm going to I'm going to explain comparison between the CMOS and bipolar. See, complementary metal oxide semiconductor is having more advantages, but it is having some drawbacks also. The advantage is what? Low static power dissipation. It offers high input impedance, high noise margin, high package density. All these are the advantages of CMOS only. The only drawback is what? The transconductance of CMOS is low and it has low output drive current. These two are the drawbacks of CMOS. When it comes to bipolar, the drawbacks of CMOS are the advantages of bipolar. Here, bipolar transistor is having high transconductance and high output drive current. These are the drawbacks of CMOS. But in case of bipolar transistor, these are the advantages only. So in order to combine these advantages and bipolar advantages, I can form a BiCMOS transistor. BiCMOS transistor is superior than CMOS and superior than the bipolar because it combines the both advantages of CMOS and VZ. That's why we are using BiCMOS transistor only. Now, in first unit, the topic spending is pull up to pull down ratio for NMOS inverter, driving by a NMOS inverter only. Again, pull up to pull down ratio for NMOS inverter driven by one or more pass transistor. The derivation can be very simple only. Anyway, pull up transistor is a depletion mode transistor that is replaced by a constant current source, and the enhancement mode transistor is replaced by a resistor because it is operates in the linear region. By equating V out 1 and V out 2, we can calculate the pull up to pull down ratio for NMOS inverter driven by one or more pass transistor is given by the ratio 8:1 only. Anyway, I can leave it. Next topic is MOS transistor. This is a PMOS transistor and this one is a NMOS transistor. This PMOS transistor is on for logic 0. Whenever gate voltage is equals to 0, then this PMOS transistor is in on position. It is replaced by a short circuit only. Similarly, the NMOS transistor is on for logic 1. For logic 0, it acts as a open circuit only. Now, pass transistors. See, based on the gate voltage, the transistor is on or off. See here, if the gate voltage is equals to 0, for NMOS, it is going to be open circuit only. For gate voltage is equals to 1, it acts as a short circuit, then the source, the input is transferred to the output side, output node only. That's why it is called as a pass transistor. The NMOS transistor acts as a pass transistor whenever input is logic 1, otherwise it acts as a open circuit only. Similarly, if gate voltage is 0 for PMOS, it acts as a short circuit only. Then the input is transferred to the output side, then it is called as a pass transistor. Again, here I can conclude that the PMOS transistor acts as a pass transistor whenever gate voltage or input voltage is equals to 0, otherwise it acts as a open circuit only. See, why we go for a transmission gates concept? The pass transistors produces degraded outputs. We already know that the PMOS transistor passes a strong 1 and weak 0. Similarly, NMOS transistor passes strong 0 and weak 1. That's why pass transistor produces degraded outputs only. The problem can be eliminated by using transmission gates only. Anyway, this transmission gates concept can be explained in the second unit for a few minutes. This is transmission gates concept only. See here, NMOS transistor passes strong 0 and PMOS transistor passes a strong 1. That's why a PMOS transistor is always connected into VDD. NMOS transistor is always connected to ground terminal because it passes strong 0, PMOS passes strong 1. Anyway, this is a switch model only, simple inverter circuit. Now, this is the CMOS inverter circuit only. I'm going to explain the operation of the CMOS inverter. If V input is logic 0, then PMOS transistor is in off position. It is replaced by a open circuit, and NMOS transistor is in, sorry, V in is equals to 0, PMOS transistor is in on position, NMOS transistor is in off position. That's why output is VDD is transferred to the output side. In this case, V out is logic 1. When input is logic 0, this PMOS transistor is on and NMOS transistor is off. This VDD is transferred to the output side. That's why output voltage is equals to logic 1. If input is 0, output is 1. That's why it is called as a inverter. Similarly, I can apply input voltage is logic 1. then NMOS transistor is on and PMOS transistor is off. It is replaced by a open circuit. Then the output voltage is shorted to the ground terminal. That's why output voltage is equal to 0. If V input is logic 1 and V output is equal to logic 0. That's why it is called as a CMOS inverter. See, the advantage of CMOS inverter is low static power dissipation. In this case, if input is either logic 0 or logic 1, there is no, see, if input is either logic 0 or logic 1, there is no short circuit from VDD to ground terminal. That means no static current is flowing. If input is either 0 or 1, one of the transistor is going to be open circuit only. That's why there is no path between VDD and the ground terminal. That means no current is flowing. That's why compared to the only NMOS technology and only PMOS technology, CMOS is having less power dissipation. For example, if I am going to implement the inverter with only NMOS, I am using this pull-up transistor is also depletion NMOS transistor. If V input is logic 1, in case of NMOS, this transistor is on, this transistor is on. That means a short circuit is provided between VDD and the ground. Then a current is flowing from VDD to ground whenever input is logic 1 in case of a NMOS inverter. Similarly, if I am going to implement the inverter with only PMOS, input is logic 0, both the PMOS transistors are on, and so a short circuit is provided between VDD and the ground. That's why in case of PMOS also, if the input is logic 0, current is flowing from VDD to ground. That's why current is flowing means what? Power dissipation is more only. See, I'm going to conclude this point as CMOS inverter has low power dissipation. Either input is logic 0 or logic 1 when compared to the NMOS technology and PMOS technology. Anyway, static complementary CMOS. See here, if I'm the pull-up network is replaced. Let us assume this is not a complementary CMOS. Let us assume this pull-up network is replaced by a resistor. What is happening? Then, whenever this pull-up network is replaced by a resistor, the resistor occupies more space on the semiconductor chip. That's why we don't want to prefer pull-up network as a resistor. For example, if this pull-up network is replaced by a depletion mode transistor, in this case also the output never reaches to zero output. This is the drawback of whenever pull-up network is replaced by a depletion mode transistor. What is happening? This pull-up network is replaced by a enhancement mode transistor. Enhancement mode transistor, initially there is no channel. To form a channel, I can require a threshold voltage. That's why in order to on this enhancement mode transistor, again this enhancement mode transistor, I can require a threshold voltage Vt. That's why in this case also I don't get zero logic output and logic 1 output completely because there is a drop of threshold voltage. When comes to CMOS, this pull-up network is replaced by a PMOS and the pull-down network is replaced by a NMOS. In this case, strong 1 can be applied at the output and strong 0 can be applied at the output. That's why we are prefer only CMOS rather than the resistor network, rather than the enhancement mode transistor as pull-up, depletion mode transistor as the pull-up. Anyway, the last topic in the first unit is a latch up only. What is the meaning of a latch up? Latch up is the process of generation, the process of generating low impedance path in the CMOS chips. It provides a short circuit from VDD to ground terminal due to the presence of parasitic NPN and PNP transistors. In general, while fabricating a CMOS transistor, internally it forms a NPN transistor and PNP transistor. These two transistors are short circuited, then current is flowing through the short circuit path. Then the circuit is going to be damaged only when both the transistors having high current gain. Once the latch up is occur, the only possibility to reduce the latch up is reduce the current value below a critical value. It is possible only when the power supply is removed from the circuit. Anyway, the remedy to reduce the latch up is reduce the current gains of the NPN and PNP transistors and use the lower resistance of R substrate and R well resistance. Anyway, this is the end of your first unit. Now I'm going to start the second unit only. In second unit, we can study stick diagrams and layout. For that purpose, I'm going to explain NAND gate. See, this circuit diagram performs the operation of a NAND gate. We have to remember one logic while drawing a circuit diagrams. See, pull down network is these two NMOS transistors are connected in series. Remember for one logic, for pull down network to implement a product term, the NMOS transistors are connected in series. To implement a sum term, the NMOS transistors are connected in parallel. Remember for pull down network, for pull up network it is exactly opposite to the pull down network. See in this case, I'm going see I'm going to explain the operation of a NAND gate. If input is 0, 0, in first case input is 0, 0, A value is 0 and B value is 0, then the PMOS transistors are on, NMOS transistors are off. In this case, VDD is transferred to the output side, that's why Vout is equals to logic 1. Similarly, if A is equals to 0, that means this PMOS transistor is in on position, this NMOS transistor is in off position, and B is equals to 1, this NMOS transistor is in on position and this PMOS transistor is off position. In this case also the VDD is transferred to the output side through the transistor A. That's why V output is logic 1. Here in this case also if A is equals to 1, B is equals to 0, one of the PMOS transistor is on, then the VDD is transferred to the output side. That's why V output is equals to logic 1. What is happening when both the inputs are 1 1? If A is 1 and B is 1, then both the PMOS transistors are off and both the NMOS transistors are on position. In this case, Vout is connected to the ground terminal only. That's why when both the inputs are 1 1, V output is equals to logic 0. Similarly, here I am explaining the NOR gate only. See, NOR gate means what? It is a sum term only. For sum term, for pull down network, these two NMOS transistors are connected in parallel. Here also, if A is equals to 0 and B is equals to 0, these two PMOS transistors are on, hence the output is equals to the logic 1 only. If A is equals to 0 and B is equals to 1, one of the NMOS transistor is in on position, that's why Vout is connected to the ground terminal. That's why for these two combinations, output voltage is equals to 0. When it comes to both the inputs are 1 1, then both the NMOS transistors are on position, the output is connected to the ground terminal, that's why Vout is equals to 0. In this fashion we can explain any circuit diagram based on logic 0 and logic 1. See, I'm going to implement the circuit diagram for this logic. In this case, this is a sum term only. These two are the product terms and these two are the sum terms. Listen, B plus C is a sum term. The sum term can be implemented in the pull down network by connecting it to parallel only. That's why I'm counting B and C transistors are in parallel. Then this gives the B plus C. Now, what is next one? A into B plus C. This is a product term only. In case of pull down network, to implement a product term, I can connect with the series only. This A transistor is connected with the parallel combination of B plus C. Till now, this circuit gives the A into B plus C. What is the next one? I'm going to implement D plus A into B plus C. This entire one is A into B plus C. Now I'm going to implement which term? Sum term only. Sum term in case of pull down network, the D transistor is connected in the parallel only. Anyway, the pull up network is connected exactly opposite to the pull down network. That's why I can use the complement. Now, see here, See, in this case, B and C are connected in parallel. When it comes to pull-up network, these two are connected in series only. This A transistor and these two transistors are connected in series in pull down. When it comes to pull up, these two are connected in parallel. These two networks are connected in parallel in pull down. When it comes to pull up, these two networks are connected in series. That's why that's why the equation can be termed as a complement of this one. In this logic, by using this logic, we can implement any circuit diagram. Now, this is the transmission gate. There are some drawbacks in the pass transistor because it does not produce the full logic 0 and full logic 1. That's why we go for a transmission gate. In this transmission gate, let us assume the C is equals to 1. If C is equals to 1, then this NMOS transistor is in on position. If C is equals to 1, what about the C bar? The C bar is equals to 0. Then this PMOS transistor is in also on position. When C is equals to 1, both NMOS and PMOS transistors are on position. Then the input is transferred to the output side. That's why it is called as a transmission gate. Anyway, the transmission gate has advantage that it requires less number of transistors compared to the standard CMOS. When it comes to pseudo NMOS logic, in pseudo NMOS logic, the pull-up network is a single PMOS transistor. In this single PMOS transistor, the gate is always connected to the ground terminal. Whenever gate is always connected to the ground terminal, it is always in on position only. And by using pseudo NMOS logic, it is having some advantages. Less area and speed of operation is high and power dissipation is low. The number of logic gates required for n input logic is n plus 1 only, because n number of transistors is required for the pull down network, only one transistor is required for the pull up network. The drawback of this one is it is having a static power dissipation because there is a static current flow between VDD and ground terminal. And this is the pseudo NMOS logic only. The pull-up network is a PMOS transistor and the gate terminal is always connected to the ground terminal. Similarly, pseudo NMOS NOR gate, the pull-up is a PMOS and for NMOS it is a sum term only. That's why all NMOS transistors are connected in parallel. In this fashion, we can implement any logic only. This is the circuit diagram of NMOS NAND gate. Pull-up is a single PMOS transistor. For NAND gate, I am connecting the series only because it is a product term only. This is a pseudo NMOS inverter. Anyway, the next topic is a stick diagram.
Mr. Sivaya, sorry to interrupt.
Sir.
I've just joined. Did you turn off your camera?
No, sir.
Okay. The camera is on?
Yes, sir. On, sir.
Achha, I'm not able to see it. Okay, no problem. Just a minute. Students are present here. Third year students, I just want to address for a couple of minutes. Dear students, I think you all are doing good. Anta chakkaga unnattunnaru. Emma, very busy with placement activities, gate and other activities. So, రేపు మనకి ఒక మీటింగ్ ఒకటి ఉంది 9:30 to 11. Training and placement cell and the faculty of EC will be joining. So మొత్తం అందరూ స్టూడెంట్స్ కూడా చక్కగా అటెండ్ అవ్వండి. జస్ట్ ప్లేస్మెంట్ అవేర్నెస్, అప్కమింగ్ ప్లేస్మెంట్స్ ఏమున్నాయి వాటి గురించి కూడా విల్ బి లిస్టింగ్ అవుట్ అండ్ విల్ బి డిస్కసింగ్. సో ఎందుకంటే ఫ్యూచర్ అంతా కూడా మనం ఇప్పుడు అన్సర్టనిటీ ఎక్కువైపోయింది కదా, వి డోంట్ నో హౌ ఫ్యూచర్ ఇస్ గోయింగ్ టు హోల్డ్. సో యూనో కాంప్లసెన్సీ అనేది పనికిరాదు. సో కరోనా ఉంది, అసలు ఏమవుతుందో తెలియదు, ఇట్లాంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఇవన్నీ ఏమిటి మీరు ఇలా చేస్తున్నారనే భావన అసలు ఉండకూడదు. పక్కన వాళ్ళతో మనకు సంబంధం లేదు, ఓకేనా? జీవితం అనేది ముందుకు వెళ్ళిపోతూ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, సో అల్టిమేట్ గా you will complete your final year and then you have to get into a job, okay, right? And the future is always there. సో అందుకని ఏమి ప్రపంచం తలకిందులు అయిపోయి మొత్తం నాశనం అవ్వట్లేదు, ఓకేనా? సో ప్లీజ్ అండర్స్టాండ్ దట్ అండ్ please make sure that you are serious in preparing for the placements or competitive examinations or whatever, okay? So I don't know how well you have utilized your past 3 months, but better late than never. Whenever there are any placement activities, you have to join. Please understand that those are placement registered students. మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోవాల్సింది ఏమిటంటే కోడింగ్ లేకుండా జాబ్స్ లేవు. ఓకే, ఏ జాబ్ లోకి వెళ్ళినా కూడా మనకి కోడింగ్ తప్పదు. అందుకని కోడింగ్ జావా ఇవన్నీ మనకి ఎందుకు లేరా అసలు అని చెప్పి అలాంటివి ఏమన్నా మీకు డిస్కరేజింగ్ వర్డ్స్ ఏమన్నా కనుక ఎవరితో వినిపిస్తే కనుక జస్ట్ ఇగ్నోర్ దెమ్. ఓకే, యూ హ్యావ్ టు లెర్న్ కోడింగ్. అండ్ మన ప్లేస్మెంట్ సెల్ వాళ్ళు ట్రైనింగ్ వాళ్ళు దే ఆర్ giving that training other, so please join the classes, okay, right, and attend all the interviews or the placement activities, practice tests ivanni kuda e-box gaani edest, okay, infitq so chesaru, but naaku I'm not very much satisfied, okay, so andukani please ensure that you are మన ఏసీ పిల్లలు చక్కగా పార్టిసిపేట్ చేస్తున్నారు యాక్టివ్గా అనేది మనకి రావాలి. ఇంకా నేను అంత త్వరగా సాటిస్ఫై అవ్వను. ఓకే, రైట్. సో చక్కగా చేయండి అమ్మా. సో ఎనీ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఏమన్నా మాట్లాడవలసి ఉన్నారా? శివయ్య ఎక్కువసేపు మాట్లాడుతున్నట్టున్నారు సార్. ఎనీవన్ వుడ్ లైక్ టు స్పీక్? టర్న్ ఆన్ యువర్ మైక్రోఫోన్. స్టూడెంట్స్ ఎవరున్నారు లిస్ట్ లో? ఇక్కడ చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు కదా. మీ సిఆర్స్ తో నేను ఆల్రెడీ టచ్ లో ఉన్నాను. రవికిరణ్, మణికంఠ, మోహన్ మణికంఠ, అఖిలేష్, ఏం చేస్తున్నారు అందరూ? ధనీషా
సార్,
ఎవరు మాట్లాడుతుంది చెప్పు. శివయ్య
సార్. Shall I continue, sir?
Okay. So I think everyone is online, probably. అంతా వింటున్నారు కదా. సరే. Okay, so you will end up by 12:30.
Almost 12:30. Yes sir, 12:30 or 12:40 sir.
అవసరం లేదు, ఇప్పుడు మొత్తం చెప్పాలని లేదు. నెక్స్ట్ మళ్ళీ ఇంకో సెషన్ ఉంది కదా, అప్పుడు కావాలంటే చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. అదర్వైజ్ మనకి ఆల్టర్నేట్ డేస్ కదా వీళ్ళు కండక్ట్ చేసేది, అవునా? సో కాబట్టి ఇంకో రోజు కూడా మీరు ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉంటే మీరు షెడ్యూల్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, ఇబ్బంది లేదు. ఓకేనా? ఓకేనా, రైట్. ఓకే, ప్లీజ్ క్యారీ ఆన్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Okay sir. See, when comes to stick diagram is a cartoon of layout only. How to draw the stick diagram for a transistor? Anyway, this is the layout of a transistor only. Whenever a polysilicon crosses n diffusion, it forms a transistor only. In this case, green color is used for the n diffusion and this red color is used for the polysilicon. Anyway, we will explain for a few minutes the stick diagram for the CMOS inverter. Stick diagrams are means of capturing topology and layer information using a simple diagram only, which convey layer information through the color coding or monochrome encoding only. It acts as a symbolic circuit. It acts as interface between the symbolic circuit and actual layout. The stick diagram does show all the components and it shows the relative placement of all the components, and it is one step closer to the layout only. Anyway, stick diagram is a cartoon of layout, and the stick diagram does not show exact placement of components and the transistor sizes, that is wire lengths, wire widths and tub boundaries, and low level details such as parastatics only. So to draw these stick diagrams, we can follow some rules only. The first rule is what? Whenever two or more sticks of same type cross or touch each other, then it represents an electrical contact. See here, this is a one stick. Blue color is represented with metal one. This is also blue color, metal only. These same sticks are touch each other here. It indicates internally an electrical contact here. In this case, this is a polysilicon, this is also a polysilicon. Here also both sticks of same type, it internally indicates an electrical contact. See, when two or more sticks of different type cross or touch each other, there is no electrical contact. See here, this is a metal one and this is a polysilicon. Both are two different sticks only. Internally there is no electrical contact here. Similarly here also, this is a polysilicon, this is a metal one. These two are the different sticks. Here also there is no electrical contact. If we want to require an electrical contact, we have to show the connection explicitly. We have to show the connection explicitly. This is also, we show the explicit connection. Now, this is very important rule only. How to form a transistor? Whenever a polysilicon crosses diffusion, it represents a transistor. If a polysilicon crosses N diffusion, it forms a NMOS transistor. If a polysilicon crosses P diffusion, it forms a PMOS transistor. In this case, polysilicon crosses a N diffusion, it forms a NMOS transistor. In this case, polysilicon crosses a P diffusion. In general, P diffusion is shown with yellow color. It forms a PMOS transistor. See, if a contact is shown, then it does not represent a transistor. In transistor, there is no contact cut. Please keep this point in mind. See, next one is, in case of CMOS, a demarcation line is used. This is the demarcation line. In general, we are using a brown color for the demarcation line. One side of demarcation line is, we are having a PMOS transistor, and other side of demarcation line we are having a NMOS transistor. In general, this demarcation line is used to avoid the touching of this P diffusion with this N diffusion. Anyway, we can follow this color codes only. N diffusion is shown with the green color, and polysilicon is shown with red color, and metal is shown with the blue color, and implant is shown with yellow color, and contact cut we are using a black color, and buried contact we are using a brown color only. NMOS enhancement transistor is formed whenever this polysilicon crosses N diffusion. It forms a NMOS enhancement transistor only, which is having, this is a source terminal, this is a gate terminal, this one is a drain terminal. See, while drawing a layout, I'm using some dimensions only. I can follow some design rules only. This N diffusion having some dimension, this polysilicon is having some dimension. The transistor symbol for the layout diagram is this one only. This is the N diffusion having some dimension. In general, we can take the 2 lambda. Whenever polysilicon crosses N diffusion, it forms a NMOS enhancement mode transistor only. This one is used in the layout diagram for NMOS transistor. Here also we are having source, gate and drain terminal. Next one is NMOS depletion transistor. In NMOS depletion transistor, this is similar to the NMOS enhancement mode transistor only. The basic difference between the enhancement mode transistor and depletion transistor, we are using an implant only. This is the implant. Implant is shown and with a square box with dotted with yellow color only. This is the implant. Similarly for layout also we are using a implant only. This is the basic difference between the enhancement mode transistor and depletion mode transistor. Next one is stick encoding only. We are familiar with this terminology. I am going to draw the stick diagram for NMOS logic circuits. This is the circuit diagram of NMOS inverter. See, this is a depletion mode transistor. It is always in on position. This is a enhancement mode transistor. The operation can be explained. See, whenever V input is equals to logic 0, this transistor is in off position, this transistor is in on position. Then this VDD is transferred to the output side. That means when V input is logic 0, then V output is equals to logic 1. That's why it acts as a inverter. Similarly, when V input is logic 1, this transistor is in on position, this transistor is a default on position. That's why the V out is connected to the ground terminal and output is equals to logic 0. That means when V in is logic 1, V output is logic 0. That's why it acts as a NMOS inverter. Now I am going to draw the stick diagram for this NMOS inverter. First draw the two metal lines with blue color. two metal lines with the blue color and providing sufficient space between them. This is a ground terminal, this is a VDD terminal. The next step is forming a transistor. Whenever N diffusion crosses with a polysilicon, it forms a NMOS enhancement mode transistor. Polysilicon crosses a N diffusion with implant, shows it is a depletion mode transistor. Second step is forming a transistor, and third one is making the contacts. This N diffusion is this is a source term. This terminal is connected to the VDD only now. That's why here also I'm using N diffusion to connect it to the VDD. Similarly, this N diffusion is connected to the ground terminal. After that, making a contact, because this is a metal, this is a N diffusion. These two are the two different sticks. That's why I can make a contact here. I can make a contact here. Anyway, these two terminals are short circuited. That's why I'm using the same N diffusion for the. In other way, I can say that a common N diffusion line can be drawn for the forming a transistor. After that, making a input and output connections only. See, this is the. I can take the output from this terminal only. That's why I'm using the same polysilicon for the output connection and make the contact here. This is the contact, because this is what is happening if the contact is not shown. If the contact is not shown, this is a N diffusion, this is a polysilicon. Polysilicon crosses N diffusion, it again forms a transistor. If this contact is not shown, that's why we have to put this contact here. This is V input terminal, this is the V output terminal. See, simply I can say that how to draw a stick diagram for NMOS inverter. First, to draw the two metal lines for ground and VDD terminal. After that, forming a transistor for NMOS enhancement mode transistor, NMOS depletion mode transistor. After that, making these contact cuts and connections. Finally, we can make the input and output connection. Similarly, I'm going to draw for the NMOS NAND gate, two input NAND gate. The stick diagram for NMOS NAND gate, what is the first step? Draw the two metal lines VDD and ground with sufficient space in between them. After that, forming a transistor. This is NMOS enhancement mode transistor, this is NMOS enhancement mode transistor, this is the NMOS depletion mode transistor. See, after that, making the connections as N diffusion and making the contact cuts. This is a common N diffusion line only. Finally, I can make the contacts for input and output. This is the V out. I'm making a contact, otherwise it forms a unwanted transistor only. That's why I can put a contact cut here. This is the input terminal A and B, and this is the output terminal. I can put it as V out. See, in similar fashion, we can draw stick diagram for any logic circuit. Similarly, for 3 input NAND gate, first to draw the metal lines, after that draw the transistors, 3 NMOS enhancement mode transistor and depletion mode transistor. After that, making the connections and contact cuts. Finally, I can form a input and output gate. Similarly, we can form an OR gate also. First to form the two metal lines. This is NMOS transistor and PMOS transistor for making connection. And this process is the same only, that's why I'm skipping the circuit. Next one is stick diagram for PMOS inverter. See, this is the PMOS inverter circuit only. Here also we can follow the same procedure as the NMOS circuit only. The only difference is to form a PMOS rather than the NMOS. How to form a PMOS transistor? P diffusion crosses with a polysilicon, we can form a PMOS transistor. In previous case, I am using a N diffusion to form a NMOS transistor. But in this case, I am using a P diffusion to form the PMOS transistor. First, to draw the two metal lines, providing sufficient space between them. After that, forming the transistor. This is a PMOS enhancement mode transistor only. This is a PMOS depletion mode transistor. This is P diffusion crossing with polysilicon. That's why it is called as a PMOS, and implantage is shown. That's why it is called as a depletion mode PMOS. After that, making the connections and contact cuts. This process is same to previous one only. The only difference is here we are using a P diffusion rather than the N diffusion. See here, if we make the contact here, there is no problem. See, both are correct only. If you make the contact here or if you make the contact on the metal line also, both the stick diagrams are same only. After that, making the input output connections only. Similarly, PMOS inverter, similarly PMOS NAND gate, which is similar to the previous one only. That's why I'm skipping. Here also we can form the transistors, make the input and output connections. Now, how to draw a stick diagram for a arbitrary logic function? See, in this case, A into B plus C. A into B is a product term. A into B is a product term. In case of pull down, I can draw it as a series. But in case of pull up, I can draw it as a parallel only. For plus C, I can draw a series only. That's why first stick diagram is also follow the same procedure. First to draw the two metal lines, providing sufficient space. After that, forming the transistor. These three are the PMOS transistors with enhancement mode only. This is the PMOS depletion mode transistor. After that, making all these connections. Finally, I can make the input and output connections only. We can draw any logic diagram. Similarly, draw the stick diagram for CMOS logic circuits. This is a CMOS inverter only. In CMOS inverter, the only difference is we are using a demarcation line in order to separate the PMOS transistor and NMOS transistor. That's why first we draw the two metal lines here, providing sufficient space. In between, I can draw a demarcation line with brown color. After that, I am forming PMOS transistor in the pull-up network and NMOS transistor in the pull-down network. How to draw a PMOS? This P diffusion crosses with a polysilicon, it forms a PMOS transistor. This N diffusion crosses with polysilicon, it forms a N diffusion. Now, I can make the contents here. See, if the P diffusion can be extended up to here and make the contact cut here, both are same only. Okay. In order to avoid the touching of this P diffusion and N diffusion, I am using a metal line only with blue color. See, for making input and output connection, both the gate terminals are shorted and given as input terminal. That's why here also both the gate terminals shorted and given as a V input. I'm going to take the V output across these drain terminals only. That's why I'm going to take here V output terminal. This is the stick diagram of CMOS inverter. The only difference is what? Draw the demarcation line. In order to avoid the touching of P diffusion and N diffusion, I am using a metal line only. See, this is also, remember, this is also a stick diagram for CMOS inverter only. This is similar to previous one. This is also, the only difference is what? Here I am indicating a into mark. What is this into mark indicates? This into mark indicates a substrate connection. See, in PMOS, the substrate is connected to the VDD terminal. In NMOS, the substrate is connected to the ground terminal. That's why I am indicating this into mark. See, some textbooks are shown with this substrate connection. Some textbooks does not show this substrate connection. Both these stick diagrams are correct only. Don't bother about this substrate connection. Whether we connect it or not. Both are same only. Anyway, I'm not following. In our classroom, I don't show this substrate connection. We also follow the same thing. Duplicate means what? The product term. The product term can be implemented by using with a series connection. In pull down is a series, in pull up it is a parallel connection only. Anyway, this is the CMOS NAND gate only. Here also we can do the same thing, forming a two metal lines with blue color. After that, demarcation line. After that, forming the PMOS transistor, forming the NMOS transistor in series, making the connections properly. In order to avoid this touching of P diffusion with N diffusion, I am using a metal line here also, making the contacts. These two terminals can be taken as input terminals and these two terminals can be taken as output terminals. Finally, you can take the V output only. These two are inputs. These two are the input B and making the output connection. Similarly, we can follow any type of logic gate only. NOR gate, same process only. whether I am showing substrate connection or not, so that's same only. See, we can draw this stick diagram for an arbitrary logic function, also do the same thing only. First to draw the two metal lines with sufficient space, after that demarcation line, after that forming a PMOS transistors as shown in the circuit. These two transistors are in parallel, that's why I can draw these two are parallel, and this one is a series, that's why I can draw this one transistor is a series with this parallel combination. After that forming NMOS transistor, these two transistors are series, that's why I can draw these two transistors are series. This one is a parallel combination of these two transistors. After that making the proper connections, these two are connected and this is connected and making a contact cut here. Similarly for NMOS also, we can do the same thing, making a contact cut, and I am using a metal line to avoid the touching of PMOS with NMOS. After that making contact and make the connection. See, I am going to explain the point here. See, these two terminals are the acts as a input terminal. These two can act as a B. These two can act as another input terminal C, and this is the output terminal. So here I am using a metal line. If the purpose of metal line is in order to avoid the formation of unwanted transistor only. See, if this metal line is not used, if I am using the same polysilicon wire here also, then the polysilicon crosses the N diffusion. Whenever polysilicon crosses N diffusion, it forms another transistor. But we require only three transistors. This is A, B, C. If I am using a polysilicon to connect this B to here, it forms another transistor. This is the, that's why I am using a metal line in order to avoid the unwanted formation of transistor. Similarly, I am going to use the same logic with the substrate connections. See, this is all about the stick diagram. We can draw the stick diagram for PMOS logic or NMOS logic or complementary CMOS logic also we can draw. Next one is design rules. While drawing a layout, we can follow some design rules only. See, in this case, this is a N diffusion. The dimension of N diffusion is 2 lambda. This is also N diffusion, is 2 lambda. The distance between N diffusion to N diffusion is 3 lambda. Here also this is a metal one. Metal one is having the dimension 3 lambda. The metal one is having, this is also 3 lambda. The distance between the two metal ones is 3 lambda only. Anyway, this is a polysilicon which is having the dimension 2 lambda. This is also polysilicon having the dimension 2 lambda. The distance between these two polysilicons is 2 lambda only. This is a polysilicon, this is a N diffusion. This polysilicon is 2 lambda dimension. This N diffusion is also 2 lambda dimension. But the distance between polysilicon and N diffusion is minimum 1 lambda. Similarly, this is metal 2. Metal 2 is having the dimension 4 lambda. Here also metal 2 is having the dimension 4 lambda. The distance between metal 2 and metal 2 is a 4 lambda only. Anyway, these symbols are used while drawing a layout only. Layout can be drawn with proper dimensions only. See, this is a polysilicon. This is a N diffusion. Whenever polysilicon crosses a N diffusion, it forms a transistor, and the overlapping portion is called as a transistor, and it is 2 lambda by 2 lambda. Similarly, this is a P diffusion, and this one is polysilicon. Whenever polysilicon crosses a P diffusion, it forms a PMOS transistor. The difference between enhancement mode transistor and depletion mode transistor is only implant. See, in this case, it shows the depletion mode transistor only. Anyway, these are the contact cuts. Contact cuts means what? Making the connection between metal 1 to polysilicon. This is the metal 1, this is the polysilicon. Metal 1 and polysilicon can be connected as a contact cut. The dimension of this one is 2 lambda by 2 lambda, and the overlapping is 4 lambda by 4 lambda. Similarly, here I am connecting metal 1 to the N diffusion. Next one is via contact. Via contact is the connection between metal 1 and metal 2 is called as a via contact. This is metal 1 and this is metal 2. Metal 2 is having dimension 4 lambda. Metal 1 is having the dimension 3 lambda. This is 4 lambda by 4 lambda. Anyway, the contact cut is 2 lambda by 2 lambda. Similarly, I am using via and cut. All these are the design rules for drawing a layout only. See, similarly, here we are using a buried contact only to making the connection between polysilicon and diffusion. This This overlapping portion is extended in all directions by 1 lambda. Only in diffusion it extended by 2 lambda. See here, all these are the buried contact connections only. Anyway, budding contact connection is somewhat difficult only. This is the summary. Now I am going to draw the layout diagram of a NMOS inverter. Now, anyway, this is the stick diagram we already discussed. This is the stick diagram of NMOS inverter. See, first draw the metal lines. In this case, while drawing the layout diagram, I can follow the stick diagram as it is only. See here, this is the metal line VDD, this is the ground line, this is also can be shown with metal line. First draw the metal lines. This is VDD and ground terminal, and we have to indicate the dimension of this metal one. This metal one is having the dimension 3 lambda. Here also this ground is having the dimension 3 lambda. Next step is forming a transistor. How to form a transistor? Forming N diffusion is shown with green color, polysilicon is shown with red color. Whenever polysilicon crosses with green N diffusion, it forms a transistor only. The N diffusion is having the dimension 2 lambda and polysilicon is having the dimension 2 lambda. It forms a NMOS enhancement mode transistor only. In general, the pull-up resistor is having the ratio 8:1 only. Therefore, I can write 8 lambda. This is the 2 lambda only. That's why I can use this dimension is 8 lambda. Polysilicon of depletion mode transistor is shown with 8 lambda and this N diffusion is shown with 2 lambda. After forming the NMOS enhancement mode transistor and PMOS transistor, I can make the contact only to make the output connection. See, while drawing the layout, we can follow the some rules only. In this case, the contact cut is having the dimension 2 lambda by 2 lambda, and this portion is having the dimension 4 lambda by 4 lambda, and the minimum dimension between the contact cut to another transistor is 2 lambda. You have to indicate this dimension 2 lambda, and the minimum distance between one transistor to another transistor is also 2 lambda. See, this is the layout diagram of a NMOS inverter. Similarly, we can draw the layout diagram for NMOS NAND gate. We can follow the same procedure with all the dimensions. First form the metal lines with proper dimensions 3 lambda, 3 lambda. After that forming the transistors, this transistor A and this transistor B, and forming the depletion mode transistor. After that making the connections. This is the contact cut only 2 lambda by 2 lambda, 4 lambda by 4 lambda. In this case also the dimension of this transistor is 2 lambda by 2 lambda. Here also 2 lambda by 2 lambda, and the dimension between one transistor to another transistor is also 2 lambda, and the dimension between this depletion mode transistor and the transistor is also 2 lambda. See, we have to follow the design rules only while drawing the layout diagram, either it is NMOS NAND gate or NOR gate. This is the layout diagram of NMOS NOR gate. First draw the metal line for forming VDD. This is the ground terminal for forming the ground terminal using metal one for proper dimension is 3 lambda. Next one is what? Forming a common diffusion. See from the stick diagram I can draw this is the N diffusion only na. Similarly I can draw the N diffusion with proper dimension 2 lambda. After that I can form a polysilicon with a dimension 2 lambda. This forms a NMOS transistor A, this forms the another transistor B. And the next one is forming an implant. This is the depletion mode transistor only, and this is the buried contact to making the output connection. This is the contact cut maintaining the overlap portion 2 lambda by 2 lambda. Similarly, these are the contact cuts maintaining the overlapping portion 2 lambda by 2 lambda. And finally, I can make the input and output ports. In this fashion, I can draw the NMOS NOR gate only. These are the, while drawing the layout rules, we can follow these rules only. We already discussed CMOS inverter. Now, in this session, I am going to explain the CMOS inverter. After that, I can conclude. Listen, in the CMOS inverter, see, in this case also, I can draw the metal lines for indicating VDD and ground terminals. VDD and ground terminals. After that, forming a PMOS transistor. This is a P diffusion crossing with the polysilicon. This is N diffusion crossing with the polysilicon. It forms a NMOS transistor and it forms a PMOS transistor. For making the input connection, I can take the polysilicon only having the dimension of 2 lambda. This connection is for making the input connection. Similarly, in order to avoid this P diffusion with N diffusion, I can use the metal having the dimension 3 lambda. See, this one is 2 lambda, this one is 3 lambda. That's why it is more than this one. And making the output connection D out. See, I can make the contact cut. This is the contact cut. Finally, I can make the contact cut here also. Same only. This is the contact cut here. In case of layout, this one is the contact cut for proper dimensions only. In case of stick diagram, simply I can put a dot only. But comes to layout, we can follow some rules only. This overlapping portion is 2 lambda by 2 lambda, and this portion is 4 lambda by 4 lambda. Finally, I can show this connection also. This is 2 lambda by 2 lambda and 4 lambda by 4 lambda. Anyway, in our classroom sessions, I don't show this connection. See, this connection is nothing but substrate connection only. In case of PMOS, the substrate is connected to the VDD. In case of NMOS, the substrate is connected to the ground terminal. Whether we connect the substrate connection, both are correct only. Anyway, we neglect the substrate connection. See, this is also having the same dimension. It is 2 lambda by 2 lambda, and the overlapping portion is and this one is also 4 lambda by 4 lambda, 2 lambda by 2 lambda. Whether we connect the substrate connection or not, both the layout diagrams are same only. Okay. Finally, we can make the VDD and the ground terminals. In this fashion, I can connect layout diagrams also. This is the CMOS NAND gate. We can implement the stick diagram as it is with the proper dimensions. That is the layout diagram only. That's why stick diagram is called as a cartoon of layout. We can follow the same rules. Anyway, we neglect the substrate connections. Anyway, the layout diagram for CMOS NAND gate can be drawn as it is as the stick diagram only. After that, making the proper connections. Anyway, this is the end of our second unit. In the next session, I am going to complete third unit. Anyway, I am going to complete the session here. I hope all the students this session is useful for the revision of first 2 units. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Students, any doubts?